This is ABC15 Mornings.
As coronavirus cases surge nationwide, we've got a little glimpse of hope here in Arizona. For the first time in over a month, COVID patients are not taking up the majority of our hospitals.
And stimulus debit cards, how to make sure that this new form of relief doesn't fall victim to scammers.
Plus, we've got a story of strength for you on this Monday morning. A Mesa woman beating cancer and then immediately returning to a job that she loves. We're going to be sharing her inspiring story with you. It's a great attitude that she really brings to the table that we really think is infectious and going to catch on for you and your family as we kick off the second half of the weekend. So glad to have you here with us. I'm NOHELANI GRAF, working from home this morning.
And I'm Mark Thompson here in studio. Can't wait to check out that story you were just talking about there, Nohe. But for now, gosh, what a beautiful looking day to round out the weekend as we head into the work week. I mean, how can you complain? Temperatures maybe in the 70s?
Absolutely. So yesterday we stayed in the 60s, but it really didn't feel that way because of all of the sunshine, and it was gorgeous. I said at one point in the car, oh, we have Simpsons clouds because they're those big puffy clouds with that really blue background sky. Today, we're going to see a lot more clouds, but we will work our way into the 70s. So let's get into that most accurate forecast. Now, don't be scared by any clouds that you see move in, even as they thicken up this afternoon, because we will stay dry here in the valley. It's just going to trap that heat in so that we make our way into the 70s. We are, however, tracking some rain chances in the second half of our forecast. If you are somebody who likes to get out, get your exercise in early, definitely going to need to bundle up this morning. It's cold once again, very similar to what we felt yesterday, so make sure you get yourself a good jacket, whether you're going for a run or a hike. We're in the 30s across much of the valley, and even when we work our way into the 40s, we will stay there through those mid-morning hours. I'm going to talk more about that warm-up that's going to get us into the 70s, though, today. That's coming up in just minutes.
We want to get to a developing story this morning. One person in critical condition after a shooting involving a police officer. Now, this happened near 59th Avenue and Northern. Police telling us that the man that was shot by officers first called police saying that he wanted to light people up, specifically cops. Now, when Glendale police showed up to that scene, they found the 23-year-old suspect holding a spear. They say that spear was 3 to 4 feet long. Officers say the man ran at police with it.
The suspect charged at the sergeant, and then another officer arrived. The suspect turned his attention toward that officer and charged at that officer with that spear. And at that time, the officer fired his duty weapon at the suspect, striking him.
Is in the hospital in critical condition. Glendale police did not find a gun on the suspect.
To Phoenix now, where a 15-year-old boy does have what's being called life-threatening injuries after being shot at an apartment complex last night. It happened near 29th Street and Bell. Officers say witnesses did see a suspect, but so far we don't have any description of what that person might look like or if any arrests have been made. Also developing for you this morning, an attempted robbery ends with a store employee shot, but not by the would-be robber. A wild scene playing out near 32nd Street and Indian School. Officers say an employee was trying to stop a shoplifter, and they wound up outside the store where a bystander then tried shooting that shoplifter as they were making a run for it. But that person missed and shot the employee instead. Now, fortunately, everyone here is okay as far as the victims go, but police have not said yet if that shoplifter has ever been caught.
Now to just a stunning new projection when it comes to the death toll from coronavirus. Even in the best case scenario, nearly 200,000 Americans are likely to die between now and May 1st. Now, that's according to the University of Washington's pandemic forecasting team. This making the race to get more Americans vaccinated even more urgent. Nationwide, the CDC says that nearly 50 million vaccine doses have been distributed, but only 29 million shots have been administered. Meanwhile, President Biden is calling on Congress to pass another enormous economic stimulus package totaling $1.9 trillion to help struggling families through the pandemic.
Closer to home, health officials reporting more than 5,000 new COVID-19 cases in Arizona as we head into this Sunday. So that brings our total to 753,000 cases since the pandemic began 1 year ago. Sadly, we also have to tell you about another 76 people who died in our state as a result. The number of lives lost in Arizona to this virus so far now growing to 13,098. We do have a little glimpse of hope, though, that we want to make sure we focus on. That's coming from inside our hospitals. We have a graph that compares the percent of COVID to non-COVID patients. And for the first time in more than a month, COVID-19 does not make up the majority of hospitalizations. So that is progress. Hospitals, though, are still very full. Just about 10% of hospital beds are available in the state, we're learning, and only about 8% are available in the ICU.
Now, to help with the vaccine distribution, U.S. troops are now being deployed across the nation. And while Arizona isn't really part of that, our state is being used as an example of how troops can help. Teams from FEMA and the Department of Defense arriving in Arizona to our State Farm Stadium this weekend, and they're sharing best practices with the state leaders to help speed up that rollout, not only here, but also around the country. And speaking of the vaccine, many viewers, they have reached out to us saying that they're having a hard time signing up to get vaccinated. We've got two important phone numbers to show you. They're on your screen right now. This should be a little bit of help to some folks out there. 480-573-0332. Again, 480-573-0332. That number is for Arizonans who are trying to get their second dose of the vaccine to make an appointment, or if they didn't receive a confirmation email when they registered the first time. Now, here's the second number. This is 1-844-542-8201. That is the state's coronavirus hotline and can help you with all other issues. Keep in mind, you may have to wait on hold for a while. We've also put these numbers up online at abc15.com/vaccine.
Okay, here's that story that we want to put in your head that reminds you that even when things are tough, you have to be grateful for what you got, because this is a story of real strength and perseverance coming out of Mesa as a cancer survivor walks out of her final treatment and into the Navy. Carol Ortiz says it was the perfect way to celebrate being cancer-free. Our Claudia Rupsich was there and is sharing Carol's story.
Hell yeah!
Carol Ortiz is officially cancer-free. Wednesday, she walked out of Banner's Anderson Cancer Center in Mesa, excited and determined.
Basically, it's a double salute to cancer.
The Navy chief was medically cleared and thought since her re-enlistment date was coming up, it'd be fitting to leave her very last treatment and in the parking lot re-enlist in the Navy for another 6 years.
Being in the Navy is amazing. It's an honorable thing to serve my country, and I've loved every minute of doing my 13 years.
In 2019, Carol and her wife Danielle were competing in a triathlon when Carol got in a serious bike accident.
What we thought were injuries from the accident led to a stage 3 breast cancer diagnosis.
Carol was diagnosed with invasive stage 3 breast cancer. She's been through chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, and drug therapy.
She is so strong. She's determined, and nothing was going to get her down. So we were still exercising. We were still, trying to be healthy.
Even during her treatment, she was working full-time as a recruiter for the Navy.
To fight stage 3 and then be told you're no evidence of disease, I think part of the attrition for that, or the attribution, is being positive the entire time and having the support that I've had. That's what's really gotten me through it.
Today, she took an oath.
So help me God.
For her country.
I love you, and I plan on being here for a long freaking time.
And her family.
Because she's a chief, the chief's mess is probably the largest organization in the military that they're brothers and sisters. And so her brothers and sisters are out here to support her, not only for her final treatment, but also to see her re-enlist in the Navy and continue on with them as a Chief's mess.
In Mesa, Claudia Rupsich, ABC 15 Arizona.
Because it's an honorable thing and I absolutely love it.
Absolute warrior. That is amazing. Carol, congratulations. That is just stunning. That's got to put a smile on your face this morning. All right, let's talk about that most accurate forecast now. If you're stepping out the door first thing, you got to take the dog for a walk. Make sure you bundle up. It is cold out there once again. You might even see your breath a little bit. We're in the 30s across much of the southern portion of the valley, 38 in Chandler, upper 30s in Mesa. We've also got 30s in the far west valley as well. Central portion of the valley in the 40s right now. Clouds and radar showing us part of the reason why we still have clear skies. So, nothing to keep us warm here. That's letting those temperatures dip, but that will change. Clouds will stream in, but then that's going to help trap in some of the heat from the sun once it comes up, and we'll make our way into the 70s once again. We haven't seen the 70s in a couple of days here, so 72 is that forecast high. We're going to continue to see more clouds as we move through the afternoon, but we will stay dry. And this is just the beginning of our warm-up. I'll show you just how high those temperatures are going to go in the coming days, coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
All right, Nohe, thank you. 6:11 now on your Sunday morning. Coming up, Valley Marines are on a mission to have tough conversations about mental health. Also, he's responsible for more than 50 popular restaurants here in Arizona. Valley chefs, they are remembering the life of a local legend. A Marine on a mission to help the military community after losing a brother to suicide. Now, this is a difficult topic to talk about for a lot of people, but this all-important dialogue, it really does have the power to save lives. This morning, our very own Carla Navarrete shows us how this Valley man is finding a unique way to raise awareness about veterans and their mental health.
They grew up together here in the Valley, Tristan and Kiernan Wimmer, brothers who served in the military, in the Marines. Tristan pledged to do more for veterans dealing with mental health after his brother Kiernan succumbed to suicide.
You kind of feel like nobody understands or nobody cares. I think that it can be a pretty isolating sort of process to go through. And
his brother Kiernan dealing with depression and anxiety for nearly a decade. He also got Tristan into base jumping.
My brother got me into base jumping, and it's a way for me to sort of honor him and bring awareness to the issue. So
through base jumping, 22 jumps in all, Tristan and 2 other military friends decorating Echo Canyon this morning in honor of those who die each and every day.
22 veterans that are estimated to commit suicide a day.
The goal on Saturday morning to raise $22,000 for Cohen Veterans Bioscience.
They're a research institution that focuses specifically on developing testing and therapeutics for traumatic brain injury.
22jumps.org is where anyone wanting to help can go. We've got a link at ABC15.com. In Phoenix, I'm Carla Navarrete, ABC 15 Arizona.
And an important reminder, if you ever feel alone or feel like you need some help or someone to talk to, you can always call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is right there on your screen, and it is available 24/7. Valley residents remembering an Arizona chef and restaurateur this weekend. TOMASO Maggiore passed away at 73 years old on Saturday morning after a 2-year battle with brain and lung cancer. Tributes going up outside of his restaurants last night. The chef was born in Sicily but moved to Arizona, launching what would become a 40-year career. We spoke to Valley chefs about his influence on the restaurant industry.
And it was real and genuine, and the passion and love and and he was funny, by the way. Boy, he could tell a joke and he could tell stories like nobody I've ever met, but he did it with such sincerity and enthusiasm and passion.
Oh, wow. I mean, he was an icon, you know what I mean? He paved the way for, Italian chefs for that matter. I mean, he was the godfather of Italian cuisine here in the Valley.
And the chef had more than 50 restaurants here in this area. He will be deeply missed.
Oh, I am so sad about this news about Chef Tomaso. We had him on ABC 15 Weekend Mornings many times over the years. His sons, among those restaurants, opened the Sicilian Butcher and Baker, as well as Hash Kitchen, and he really was always a joy to work with. He also kept a winery in Sicily and then would bottle it and sell it here at his restaurants. So boy, just thinking about his family this morning. And a lot of you might have been thinking about him. If you knew him last night, you looked up at the sky and you saw just that fire in the sky and really took it in and appreciated it. And we have to thank Adam for sharing his view of just that stunning sunset. He was up in Sedona. You can see still some snow on the Red Rocks there. Absolutely gorgeous as we headed into yesterday evening. Now, you'll also notice that those clouds started to thin out a little bit overnight again, and so it got cold once again. So as we get into your most accurate forecast, if you have to get up and walk the dog this morning, make sure that you're grabbing yourself a good jacket as you step out the door, because it is chilly out there. When you head out for your lunchtime walk, it'll be warming up, so it's actually going to be gorgeous. You might want to get Fido to walk a little bit further. And then this evening, you'll notice more clouds will roll in, but will stay dry. Temperatures right now across the valley, you can see we've got a lot of 30s across the southeastern portion of the valley. Santan Valley at 38, same temperature in Queen Creek, Maricopa, Chandler, and Gilbert, all close to that. We're also sitting at 39 in Peoria, and we've got 30s in Wickenburg this morning. Across the state, we have some single digits up in the high country. In Window Rock, Flagstaff has worked its way into the low teens, as well as Heber and Sholo. We're in the 30s in Sedona, although it feels closer to freezing. So, you know, a couple of degrees not making a big difference. It's just downright frigid out there. We even have 30s in Quartzsite this morning, as well as Safford. Now, as you move about your day, if you are an allergy sufferer, and particularly if you're susceptible to juniper, that's our leading allergen right now, you're going to catch a bit of a break today and tomorrow, but you'll notice on Tuesday and Wednesday that you might start sniffling a little bit more as those allergens move back into the moderate category, but the low end at that. As for our warm up today, it's going to stay chilly through those mid-morning hours. Even with the sun up, it's going to be crisp out there. We'll be in the 50s by about 10 o'clock, and then at lunchtime, we work our way into the 60s, and our temperatures are going to be pretty pleasant. If you want to take your lunch outside today, maybe give yourself a little picnic in the backyard. Order it to go, because it's going to feel nice and warm. We'll start to see more clouds roll in, but we will stay in the 70s today, low 70s at that. So we haven't felt those temperatures in a minute. 72 is that official forecast high that we'll see across most of the valley, including Maricopa, Queen Creek, Scottsdale, and Peoria. Across the state, warmer temperatures to our south and west, as well as we reach the 70s in Casa Grande and Gila Bend, as well as Yuma. Staying in the upper 60s up in the Lake Havasu City and Quartzsite areas, but still warmer temperatures there. We'll be in the 50s across most of central Arizona, and then north of the rim, we make our way into the 40s. But it will feel cold up north because of the added breezes, around 5 to 15 miles an hour, depending on where you are. Now, Futurecast showing us all of those clouds that are going to start to build this morning, getting a lot thicker as we move through the middle of the afternoon. Pretty much statewide, we're going to have cloud cover, but we'll be dry. We'll get a little bit of moisture out of a system that's moving in from California up in the northern portion of our state on Monday. Mid-afternoon. So we could see some light sprinkles in Kingman, portions of Sedona, and up in Flagstaff. Maybe even a slight snow shower in those higher elevations as that rain continues to move through Winslow and Window Rock as we head through Monday evening. But again, staying dry here in the valley, and in fact, beginning a warming trend. 70s today, low 70s at that, mid 70s to start your work week. And by Tuesday, we're in the upper 70s. 77 is that forecast high. But then we track the next storm system, and rain chances start to move back into the valley Wednesday night and into Thursday. And that's also going to change our temperatures, as you see, and bring us right on back down into the mid 60s. So a little something for everyone in this forecast, but I think a lot of people are going to be getting out and enjoying those 70s while they last, Mark. Yeah, it looks fantastic to me, Nohe. Thanks so much. Still ahead, people are now visiting other states in order to get a COVID-19 vaccine faster. We're taking a closer look at what's being called vaccine tourism.
But next, identifying a stimulus credit card and making sure that you get your cash once it arrives in the mail. That's next.
Millions of Americans have started to receive their second round of economic stimulus payments, some in the form of checks, direct deposit, $600. And now the Better Business Bureau is letting us know that some are also getting debit cards. So Tiara Terry is from the Better Business Bureau this morning to talk about how scammers are already trying to take advantage. Hey, Tiara, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having us.
What are some of the problems that you're already seeing with these debit cards?
So believe it or not, people are still awaiting on the arrival of their stimulus checks and also known as the economic impact payments. So what people don't know is that the IRS issued an announcement stating that debit cards are now another form of payment that can be expected via postal mail for those who have not yet received it.
Is that pretty random who might get a debit card?
It is fairly random. Luckily, the IRS has a tool on irs.gov that helps people identify how their payment method will come to them.
So what are you hearing from people that are that has you letting people know scammers are out there and they're looking for those cards?
Yeah, so we at the BBB would like to promote caution when receiving debit cards in the mail. So what we know is that scammers are on top of the new topics and trends, and stimulus payments are at the forefront of people's minds. So it doesn't really necessarily register with individuals who are awaiting for payments to come to them to go through the proper steps to before proceeding with the debit cards.
So how can we recognize a legitimate debit card?
Yeah, so we at BBB have some tips to recognize the legitimacy of an EIP card. So first, we would let everyone know that the EIP cards are being sent in a white envelope with the U.S. Department of Treasury seal on them. The Visa name will appear on the front of the card, and on the back of the card has the name of the issuing bank, which is MetaBank.
And then is there anything that we need to do right away when we get those debit cards to make sure that they work and to make sure that we do have that legitimate one after we've identified all those things?
Yeah, so once the card has been verified, the individual must activate the card by calling the number provided and setting a 4-digit PIN number, sign the back of the card, and keep the card in a safe place. And don't share the information on the card with anyone. There are ways that you can go on and check more of the information on the EIP card if you go to eipcard.com/FAQ.
These are such important tips and important for people to know because we know that scammers will do anything they can to take your money, and $600 still makes a big difference for a lot of folks. We don't want them to lose out on a single penny. So Tiara, we really appreciate the heads up on this one.
Thank you so much for having me.